Many would think that after the recent status changes, the gas meta totally disappeared like it never even existed. That's where you are wrong. Gas is still very powerful given with the right builds and setup, and in this video, we will talk about how you obliterate enemies with deadly gas damage. Welcome, everyone. This is the Status Madness build and setup, also dubbed as the Gas of Death combo. To begin with, you should know that this combo involves a few things. First of all, we will be using condition overload for boosting our damage. Secondly, we will need to apply a whole lot of status to not just one, but to a crowd of enemies. Normally I will be using Zakti for this purpose, but honestly, the new meta in spreading status right now is the Kuvanuka. This is one of the key components for this combo, but you can use Zakti if you don't have Kuvanuka just yet. Next, we will be using stealth-based Warframes to take advantage of the stealth damage multiplier. Lastly, we will be needing a Plague Zor for this combo. Any melee weapon would do, but the additional viral status of Plague Zors are very helpful in adding more bonus damage to this combo. Remember that we will be using condition overload, and when I say we need plenty of status, this means that you almost have all elemental status effect in your setup. Lastly, let's talk about the builds. The parts I'm using for my Zor is a combination of Equana Ji2 Link, Plague Bokwin Grip, and Plague Gripath Strike. You can use any link or grip, but always have the Plague Gripath as the strike. Also, it doesn't need to have the same stats as my Zor, just ensure that it got tons of status chance and some critical chance for more damage. In my case, I have an 18% critical chance, and a 25% status chance in my Zor. For the build, we will giving this Zor a combination of viral and gas with these mods. Lasting Sting will be a big factor for this build, since we want gas ticks to linger for a long time. The longer it's active, the more damage we can deal with the enemies. And lastly, don't forget to equip condition overload, as this is the key ingredient for this combo in terms of damage. For the Kuvanuka build, you will just need to put a whole lot of status chance with some quality of life improvement mods for the pistol. Stunning speed would allow faster reload speed while adding more status chance to the weapon. Primed quick draw will also add another reload speed buff, which makes Kuvanuka very efficient in real missions for this combo. Last but not least, add suppressed to make the weapon silent. By the way, you don't need damage mods on this pistol for this setup, since we will be mainly using Kuvanuka to spread status effects. Lastly, let's talk about frame choices. Like I've said, we will be using stealth frames for the stealth damage multiplier, but this is not limited to those who can proc stealth damage like Radial Blind, or even Warframes that can go stealth without invisibility like Wisp. But for this video, we will just use as an example of stealth Warframes since they are more convenient to use for this combo. A great candidate is Ivara. All you need to do for this combo is to make sure that Prowl will be as efficient as possible. A Helminth ability won't be necessary, but it does add a new layer of playstyle for this gas combo. In my case, I used Ensnare to group enemies and further take advantage of the insane gas damage that this gas combo has. But squad leader, where the heck is Loki? I am supposed to see him in this video. Well, I did not forget about the frame, and in fact, it's the best for this new gas meta. Ivaro is a good option, but sometimes become inefficient for this combo. The thing is, every time you swing your melee weapon, you will lose energy when your prowl is active. So instead of Jellyfish Prime, we will use the Trickster, which is Loki. Ash and Octavio are candidates also for this combo, but I rather go with Loki because of how easy it is to use his invisibility, not to mention that it's longer compared to Ash. So anyway, you'll be using the exact mod setup on your weapons, and for your Loki, you will just need to have high duration on this frame. Having overextended is just a personal preference. Since I've included the subsumed ability Ensnare on my setup, you can go with max duration by simply putting Narrow-Minded on this slot. But if you want to see some gas nukes from this build, then I suggest trying out Ensnare on your Loki. Lastly, we don't need to put Irradiating Disarm, nor Hushed Invisibility on this build since these are already taken care of with both Kuvanuka and the Suppress mod respectively. It would be cool to add the fourth ability Augment to make the enemies kill each other, but it's totally up to you. I also set up my Loki this way, since I have an upcoming Helminth video about this frame later. But for now, go kill some enemies with some gas bombs. I often use this build and setup on Steel Path, and you can further extend its usage to endless survival runs. The amount of damage that this setup gives is bonkers that enemy levels won't matter at all. Honestly, I was saving this setup for the Plague Star event, but it surprised me that the developer did add the Plague Zors to the new Knights of Nabrus event. If they already told this during their dev stream, then sorry, I wasn't watching any dev stream lately since those times are my time of sleeping. Also, I would like to thank someone who goes by the name of Austin for sharing the same setup using the Exodia Contagion. The gas idea is the same, but his build is a little different since it's mainly focused on the Exodia Contagion Arcane. I will be discussing a separate video about it later, so be sure to check it out. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. See you at the next one. Squad Leader signing off.
This is the future. Human error. Evolution. This is the future.